Hey folks, how's it going? I'm recording a quick little video here describing how to use the drawing tool on Smartwork. It can be a little bit of a pain in the butt to use at first, so I want to avoid that. I want to make sure that you can use this program easily. So I'm going to show you one example. Get out of here, I don't want any updates yet. So I'm going to show you an example with acetic acid. Okay. So the first thing that I recommend doing is do it by hand, so that you can just copy the Lewis structure over directly. Okay. So I'm just going to show you really quick the Lewis structure for acetic acid, CH3COOH, looks like the following. So there's a carbon and a carbon that make up kind of like the two central atoms, this carbon and this carbon. So that CH3 has, right, 3 hydrogens around it. So this is that CH3 group. And now here, this carbon, if we work out the best possible Lewis structure, we arrive at this. This would be our Lewis structure for acetic acid. Okay. So now I want to walk you through how I do that easily using this drawing tool. So the first thing I suggest doing is recognize that when you're inside this window and I use the scroll thing on my mouse, it's going to zoom in and zoom out. So be careful with the little scroll thing on your mouse. And I'm just going to select all the atoms that I need and rearrange them before drawing bonds. So I'm going to grab the carbon atom and I'm going to just put a carbon atom right there, and I'll put kind of another one right there, sure. Now I'm going to grab the hydrogens and I'm going to put like one here, and one here. Looks great. And I'm going to grab my oxygens and I'm going to put one here and one here. Oh, and it looks like I need one more hydrogen that I'm going to put about right there. So I've just kind of rearranged all the atoms, approximately how I have them rearranged in my Lewis structure. Now I'm going to draw bonds between them. And that's this little line button here. And notice when you click that little kind of like closer down, you get an option for triple bond or double bond. Make sure the option for single bond is selected. And so the first thing I'm going to do is hover the mouse over until that turns green. I'm going to push the mouse button in. I'm not letting go of my mouse button, and I'm dragging it all the way over to the carbon. And when that carbon is highlighted, now I can let go of my mouse button and it draws a bond. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click and hold the mouse button and drag it all the way over to the other carbon. Okay? So I'm going to do the same thing. Click, hold, drag all the way over to that atom, and there we go. And now I'm going to keep doing that. Click, drag, hold, release. Click, drag, hold, release. And now I want to show you something, right? Look, see, this is what I mean with that scrolling thing. Like I'm flicking the scroll thing on my mouse and it's zooming in and out. So just watch out for that. Okay, so now I'm going to draw my last single bond, and there we go. Now I'm going to switch over to a double bond here. There we go. Okay. And I've got a double bond, and now I'm going to go carbon, click, drag, hold, release up to that oxygen. There we go. It doesn't have to be like straight or perfect or anything for this thing. Okay, now I need to do my lone pairs. And I'm going to grab that lone pair right there. And I notice here on this oxygen, I need 2 of them. So I'm going to put the mouse over there until it turns green. And I'm just going to click one time, and there it drew 1 pair. And then I'm going to go back, hold it over till it highlights green, click again, and there we go. And that's fine. I know they're not like top and bottom, but because both of these were put on that oxygen, it's connected to the oxygen, so it's okay. And so now I can see I need 2 lone pairs on this oxygen, so I'm going to click once, and then click again, and there I have it, all right? So now this particular problem did not want me to do formal charge. But let's suppose I did want to do formal charge, okay? That's what these pluses and minuses are all about. So let's suppose I wanted to put a charge on carbon, and I'm just gonna like make some stuff up here. This isn't necessarily the right formal charge, but just to show you an example. So suppose the formal charge, I calculate this carbon, I'm just gonna make up a number. Suppose it's like +4. That's not realistic, but let's just suppose that's what it is, okay? So I'm gonna hover over that carbon, and I'm gonna click once, and there it puts that positive charge on the carbon. So now that's saying +1. But let's suppose it was +4, right? Now I can click again, and then look, 2+, and then again, 3+, and then again, 4+. And so then let's suppose I made a mistake and I recognize I need to take that away. Well, I can go to this minus now, and in principle, this should work. Yep, I can now click the minus, and I can take away those charges, right? Or if I wanted to add a negative to one of these things, now I've got the negative selected, and I can say -1, -2, -3. Maybe I discover it's not -3, it's really 0. So now I can go back with the positive, and I can take those away just like that, okay? So don't stress, don't freak out when doing these things, right? Practice makes perfect. And hopefully this video was helpful. Okay, folks.